Nothing can dim the light that shines from within. Maya Angelou. Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Misadventures of the Mind podcast, hosted by me, your clinical child and adolescent psychologist, alias Kalik Nadal. Now, if this is your first time, welcome. Welcome to the podcast that has conversations about everything, about life's mysteries, about the things that goes on in your mind, about the things that you see at work, at school, at home, on the street when you're going to the supermarket. But if this is not your first time, welcome back. Thank you for joining me once again. I hope that you're ready for this one because this one is going to be a good one. I'm excited. And if you're also wondering if this is the voice that you'll hear every other Friday, it's not. I'm so sorry. I'm sick and I've been sick for the past couple of days. So bear with me, bear with my voice. I'm out here trying, okay? I'm trying. You can't say that I'm not trying. I promise you the next episode will not be like this. And if you don't really have a problem with my voice, thanks. If you do have a problem with my voice, so sorry. Lower your volume. But without further ado, the episode of today is a good one, like I said before. And it's a good one because it'll take you on a journey. It'll take you on a journey within yourself that you probably haven't done before or haven't done extensively at least. And it's definitely about a topic that you're probably already familiar with. You probably heard it, maybe not from a conversation that you've had, but definitely from somebody else or that you read it in a book. Without further ado, today's episode is about the misadventure of the mind that convinces you that you shouldn't pursue your dream. Furthermore, it's also one that tries to convince you that you're not capable of accomplishing these dreams. So yes, if that wasn't clear, if the misadventure of the mind wasn't clear, we're talking about inner strength. Your abilities, your capabilities, your own belief that you're capable to accomplish your dreams and or go for a thing that you've had your sights on. But as per usual, we have to define what does it mean to have inner strength? What does it mean to believe in yourself? And you know me. If you don't know me, let me just reintroduce who I am. Big nerd. Love reading, love books, love understanding the inner workings of words, terms. I love all that stuff. So much like the first episode, if you didn't check that out yet, check it out on Spotify, on YouTube. But to come back to the topic of today, we have to define what it means to have inner strength, or what it means to have that belief in yourself actually. And funny enough, my good friend Merriam-Webster, they don't have a clear-cut example or definition for what inner strength means. So a simple Google search also does the trick. The definition that I found was mental power or endurance, such as willpower, courage, self-confidence, or self-discipline. And that is the definition that they had chosen to go with for inner strength. Additionally, there's also inner strength defined as integrity of character, resoluteness of will, mental resistance to doubt or discouragement. Integrity of character, it's talking about yourself. It's talking about who you are as a person, your personality, your character. Who do you show up as when you try something or when you're going to do something that you set your mind to? And having that type of persona also has should have the mental resistance to doubt yourself or to feel discouraged if, for example, it gets hard, or resoluteness of will. And actually this one is my favorite because then we're going into what does it mean to be resolute, and it also has the same definition as resolve. But to define resolute, Merriam-Webster does have this, so shout out to them. But it is defined as a firm determination that you, as your person, as your character, as your persona, the person that you're showing up as, is marked by firm determination. So you come into the room, or you're in your own room, and the main characteristic, the main and essence of who you are is that determination. That's that never quit. That's that never doubt yourself even though it's hard. That's that keep pushing forward even though it's hard. That's that perseverance. And then there's a second word that was not mentioned here specifically in the definitions of inner strength, but it is something that came to my mind, and that's resilience. That's that mental resilience or even physical resilience that somebody has to persevere, to accomplish the goal, to accomplish that task that they had set forward. But then again, what is resilience? What does it mean to be a resilient person? And let me tell you, again, shout out to Merriam-Webster, good friend. They defined resilience as an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. I'm going to read it again. Resilience is an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Two things stand out to me, and that is recovering from or adjusting. You don't always have to bounce back. You don't always have to be the person that you started off as. You can also adjust. You can make small improvements or small changes. Hint, hint. Episode 1, we talked about change. Is it scary to change? Yes. Is it necessary to change? Yes. Will you change? That's a question for yourself. But to come back, resilience. Adjust easily to misfortune or change. Misfortune, i.e. something that you didn't really plan for, something unexpected, something that you didn't really imagine would happen to you. And of course, this is something negative. It's not to say that your whole life has changed. However, it is changed enough or changed in a way that kind of sets you back a couple of steps. Like you had your whole plan figured out. If you're a person like me, I'm a planner, I'm an organizer. So I have my steps in front of me. I always have a plan. I always know exactly where I'm going to go, what steps I'm going to take. But then all of a sudden, something happens, and then I'm taking 2 steps backwards instead of 2 steps forward. I need to be resilient. I need to have the innate ability to adjust. I need to pick myself back up somehow. It's not always easy, but it's not impossible. So we've defined what it means to have inner strength, what it means to be resilient or a resilient person at least. But I'd like to also give some examples of what that may look like in a day-to-day life. Because if you have the definition of inner strength, it could be very arbitrary. It could be very vague, if I dare say. So here's some examples that you can maybe relate to a little bit better. And that is, number 1, a strong sense of self-belief. So that's really straightforward. You have the inner strength, i.e. meaning that you have a strong sense of belief in yourself, that you believe that you can achieve whatever it is you have your sights on. Number 2 is carrying oneself with positivity. Are you the type of person to kind of have a positive outlook on life, no matter the negatives? Number 3, are you emotionally strong Oh, I stumbled over that one. I feel like that might be a sign that this one relates to me personally. Maybe to you as well. But are you emotionally strong in order to adapt? Are you capable of regulating your emotions in such a way that you give yourself the space and the ability to adapt or adjust to the misfortune, to the change, to the adversity that you're facing in your life or have faced in your life? Are you ridding yourself of self-doubt or worry? That's another one. Highly relatable. This is me yet again. So just to recap, because yikes, I feel personally attacked. Are you ridding yourself of self-doubt and worry? I'm a worrier, but am I ridding myself of that? Am I giving myself the ability and the space to be strong for myself? I don't know. I have to check. Do you have to check? I feel like you should check. And lastly, of course, there are more examples, but these are just the examples that I have. So lastly, having mental resilience to bounce. Life knocks you down. Life be lifin'. Adulthood, if you're new to the game, it's a marathon. It's not a race. It is an obstacle course that it feels like it's never ending. It has a whole bunch of things that you thought you should know, but you absolutely do not know. Are you capable of being resilient enough and being strong enough to bounce back? When life knocks you down, when life takes you back a couple of steps, it pushes you all the way back to the start of the line. Are you capable of bouncing back? Are you going to pick yourself up, put on your shoes? Maybe it needs a little clean, maybe it needs a little polish. Your suit, tie, hoodie, shirt, sweater, whatever it is you like to wear on your daily life battles, pick it up, dust it off, get back in that marathon, because life is gonna keep lifing if you are ready for it or not. And that is, I think, the hard truth that most of us, including myself, don't always want to face, don't always want to realize, is the fact that life is going to do what it does, and we have to do what we do. You have abilities, you have strengths, you have things that you're so good at, you have skills that you've learned, and maybe even skills that you didn't even have to spend too much time making better, improving, because it's just something that's within yourself. It's a part of you. Use it. These skills and these abilities are not there for show. They're not there by chance. They're not there because it gives you a cute little boost of ego or a cute little boost on your CV. It's there so you can use it. Are you using it? Are you realizing your strengths? Are you realizing your skills, your capabilities? If you're not, why not? This is also a question for myself. Why do I doubt myself? What makes me believe that I shouldn't be able to achieve my goal or to do anything, to achieve anything? This is also a question for you. Again, this is specifically for somebody who is doubting themselves. However, if you're not that person, like I said in the first episode, tell us your secret because we want to know. We want to also be enlightened. And of course, I don't always doubt myself. There's periods, there are seasons, much like outside, much like the weather. Depends where you are, of course, in the world. But there are seasons and there are periods where, you kind of just doubt yourself a little bit more. But you shouldn't. I shouldn't. Because I'm, like Maya Angelou said, there's nothing, literally nothing in this world that can dim the light that shines within myself. So why am I trying to find a thing that is trying to dim my light? And, just thought of something. If there is a person or a situation in your life that is actively trying to dim your light, remove them. Shine even brighter. Don't fight them. Don't try to convince them that you're worthy. Don't try to convince them that you have a light in you, because it's not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. However, don't you dare let them dim your lights. Let your own light shine. There's like a really cute song. It's a VBS song. And if you don't know what VBS is, it stands for Vacation Bible School. And this is for my churchgoers out there who grew up in the church or still goes to church. There's a song that goes, not gonna sing, not gonna lie. I'm just gonna read the words. It says, let your light shine. Whoa, 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 whoa. Include your own music in your head there. You can look it up. I'll let you know what it's like, but it's also based off of a Bible verse. So yes, that Bible verse says, in the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven, which is found in Matthew 5:16. So what that verse is basically saying is that you shouldn't be afraid to let the world see who you are. Let your light shine. Let the essence of who you are always shine through anything. You shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't doubt yourself. You shouldn't worry about others' opinion about who you are or who they think you should be, because that's kind of what it is. They have this perception of you should only do this to this extent, but that's not on them to decide. That's on you. So what are you gonna do? Tough question. Ask yourself, are you gonna let that person tell you what you should do with your shine, with your light, with your essence? I hope the answer is no. To continue our moment of introspection, I just kind of introduced it a little bit, but it is something that I really love doing. I love asking tough questions to myself, to you, my listener. And if you don't know what introspection is really just a fancy word for looking within. It's self-reflection, if you will. It's the act of reflecting inwardly. So I have a couple of questions for you, but also for me, because obviously I'm talking to myself while, talking to you. And that's on the topic of inner strength, of course, but specifically in the realm of believing in yourself, but also showing up for yourself. And that question is actually, do you go hard for yourself the way that you go hard for your friends and your family? Now I'm going to ask you again, do you take the end differently? I'm not one to repeat myself often, but when I do, I don't. So my question is, do you show up for yourself in the same way that you would if you were to show up for your friends or your family? And that's to say, maybe somebody that you know is going through a tough time, or they've expressed to you that they've been struggling with self-doubt, or that they have this goal in mind that they really want to accomplish. They just don't really know how to do it or how to get out of the slump that they're in to kind of go for it, to really just do it. And you, as a good friend, as a good family member, person who they can rely on, you tell them and you give them these words of encouragement. You give them these words that really light a fire under them and really make them see themselves in a different way, in a way that they needed, actually, in a way that they needed to see themselves to pick themselves up to go for that thing. But then turning it back on yourself, do you give yourself that encouragement? Do you hype yourself up? Are you your own hype man? That is the real question. You should be hyping yourself up. Do you do it? Question for yourself. Answer truthfully now. But at the end of the day, truthfully, your actual character, your persona, knows exactly what you are. It knows and will reflect that at the end of the day. So, are you your own hype man? Do you go hard for yourself? And if you do, good for you. But if you don't, what do you need to do to get there? Maybe that's a complicated question. Maybe I can help you in answering the how do you show up for yourself? Maybe you have your own answer. Maybe at the end of this episode, you can combine your own answer with my answer. Before I answer your question, I actually want to, kind of talk about one of my favorite artists. I've listened to one of his songs recently this week and felt like this might be applicable to this conversation that we're having right now. If you know this artist, you're doing so good for yourself. If you don't know, let me put you on real quick. And his name is Brent Faiyaz, Faiyaz, Brent, just Brent. And 2 songs actually. Number 1, Around Me. And he specifically said that he wrote this song Around Me because of the lack of self-reliance that some people sometimes have. And it's a little bit explicit, so if you're not into like songs with explicitives, don't listen to it. And if you're still gonna listen to it with headphones on or on a low volume. But it really talks about if you don't have money, if you don't have riches, if you don't have like a flashy life, then who is gonna show up there for you? Who's gonna be around you? Because that is something that other people deal with. I mean, of course, if you're a regular person like me, you probably don't have riches, but you do have, people around you that say that they're gonna be there for you, and then at the end of the day, maybe disappoint you in a way that you didn't expect. And then you question yourself. You're like, okay, should I just rely on myself fully, or do I still have to find the people that I can rely on? But that's a conversation for a different day. But then there's a second song titled Let Me Know, and one of the lyrics says, don't let him make you feel like the world can't heal. It's hard out there. Despite your fears, keep holding on. And a little bit later in the song, it says, I know you're a star. You just have to believe in yourself. This guy is spitting facts, bars. He's talking to me. He's talking to you. He's probably also talking to himself. I have to say it again. And it's, I know you're a star. You just have to believe in yourself. Don't let him make you feel like the world can't heal. It's hard out there. Despite your fears, keep holding on. Bro, yes, he has a point, and I agree with it. Do yourself a favor and listen to this song. Listen to the full album. Album is Lost. It came out in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. You probably may have also heard other albums. My favorite personally is Lost. There's also Wasteland that came out last year. But again, I'm rambling because I'm excited. He talks about really cool stuff, really important stuff, very similar to this podcast where it's just a reflection of real life. Life be lifin', and we're here to talk about it. But to get back to why we're here, tips and tricks, questions, I have answers. Might not have all of the answers, but I have some answers. So, question is, how do you hype yourself up? How do you show up for yourself like you would your friends or your family? How do you unlock the inner strength, the resilience, the resolute within yourself? How do you let your light shine and not be afraid of letting this light shine? Well, the answer, I figured I have two key points, 2 key factors I believe that would encourage me to allow myself to unlock this inner strength within me. And number 1 is realization and recognition, I suppose, but for the sake of just having one simple word, is the realization. And that's realization that everyone is unique, that everyone, including myself, has a specific talent, has a specific skill, has a specific characteristic that makes them who they are. You're not just a person that is exactly the same as your neighbor, your brother, your sister, your dad, your mom, your grandma. Yes, you might have similarities, as most of us do, but at the end of the day, you're your own person. And that realization, I believe, is the first step to unlocking that inner strength. Number 2, key to unlock your inner strength: practice. And that is constant practice, more specifically. Practicing believing in yourself. Practicing giving yourself the time to figure stuff out. If you're doubting yourself, your ability, your skill, maybe it's something new that you're trying to tackle, you should grant yourself the grace, that's number 1, but also the time to figure it out. If it is something new, then take the time to figure out specifically what abilities you need, what skills you might need to accomplish it or to make it flow. Depends what your work field is. So for you, it's the same thing. For you to rid yourself of that self-doubt, for you to muster up the courage to be strong enough to go for that thing, to do that thing. You know what you're thinking about, because when I mentioned a thing, you already had in your mind, like, oh, this is a thing that I should be thinking about. That thing in your mind, what is preventing you from unlocking your inner strength? That thing in your mind, what skills do you already possess that you know for a fact that if anybody else asks you to do this, you would not waver, you would not hesitate for a minute to say, I can do this, because you know deep down, deep down, you know for a fact that you can do it. But you're still listening to that voice in your head, that inner bully, that kind of villain almost. Yeah, that little villain that is trying to tear you down, that is trying to dim your light. You're listening to that voice in your head. But to go back to the tips, first things first, realize that you're unique. So that's also realizing that that villain is there to dim your light. And what did we say about people or situations, environments that are trying to dim your light? We're gonna X them away. They're gone. Whoosh, in the wind. We're not gonna associate with negativity. That includes inner negativity. That includes your inner bully. So that little villain that is telling you, oh, you can't do it, whoosh them away. They're gone. Bloop, they're gone. And then we have the constant practice. It's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, if you just do this and this, you'll be fine. You'll realize that you're so strong and you have the willpower of like a really strong animal. You know what animal. You can think of your own strong animal, but it's a constant practice. It's a constant battle almost, depending how difficult it is for you to realize your own strength, but it's not impossible. So you just need to do it every single day. Manifest it. Create your own mantra. Create your own inner hero. Who is your hero? You need an inner hero to tell you and to remind you, not even to tell you, to remind you that you're so strong. Like, look at you go. You did it. Because why? You have the abilities, you have the skills, to pay the bills. How about that? And with all that being said, the positivity, the encouraging words, the reminders, that you're strong, that you're capable, that you have the abilities, that you have a light and you should let it shine, it is a lot easier said than done, truthfully. However, like I previously mentioned, it's not impossible. There's also a last question, I promise. I know I kept you here for long enough, but last question that I had for myself, actually. And maybe you might have an answer for it. And maybe it is also a question that you had for yourself. What makes it so hard to maintain a constant flow of confidence, a constant flow of inner strength, a constant flow of belief in yourself that you're able to adjust to change or misfortune or adversity, or if anyone tries to dim your light even? And having a conversation with my husband, and he brought up a very good point, and I think that it is something that most of us maybe do. I know I do. And that's having a standard that is so high that we make it almost impossible to actually achieve, to even see. And it's not to say that you should lower your standard or you should have or have less confidence in yourself that you're able to reach this standard, but it's more so adjusting the standard in a way that makes it, first of all, that you can see it, because if you can't even see it, then what is really the point? And number two, it's the little steps. And what he also said, which I found really interesting, is that even though he improves, even though let's say it's a ladder, and you go up the ladder and you're getting better, and the standard is already too high. So, but that's besides the point. You're improving, you're getting better. You don't realize that maybe you've already reached the standard that you set for yourself, or even surpassed it, because you're already focusing on the second too high of a standard that you set for yourself. Let that sink in. Is this relatable? Is this you? Are you the type of person to set these standards so impossibly high that when you feel like you fail to achieve it, or you're too afraid to even try because you feel like, again, you're convinced that you shouldn't even pursue this standard or dream, or that you're incapable of accomplishing it? And in doing that, you don't even realize that you're setting yourself up for your own personal failure. You're seeing yourself as a failure because of the impossibly high standard that you set for yourself. So is it better to lower the standard temporarily, or have a intermediate goal in between the starting and also the standard that you set? Or is it just better to push through and convince yourself that you can do it? Either or. There's no right or wrong answer, as I said before. Again, this is specifically for people who struggle a little bit more than the average Joe to see their own inner strength, their own abilities to believe in themselves. Or are you the type of person who is just capable of setting your sights on that goal no matter how high and believing in yourself? If that's you, props to you. Again, teach us your ways. Or are you the type of person to actually set a realistic standard? Which one are you? I just want to end this episode with a little affirmation, a little positivity and light for your week, for your weekend, for your month. This week I felt a little bit compelled to share a little bit more than I'm used to actually. So today we have 2 affirmations. We have one for my fellow Bible readers, and we have one for everyone else. You're also loved, you're also included. I also see you, I also hear you, I'm there with you. But we're gonna start off with the Bible verse, and you can find it in Deuteronomy 31:6, and it goes as such. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And we also have, I trust my own abilities and refuse to worry about others' opinion about me. And if you enjoyed this new episode of the Misadventures of the Mind podcast, don't forget to share it with your friends, your families, and don't forget to talk about it. You can listen to it where all podcasts are found. Just kidding, it's only on Spotify and on YouTube for now, but you can share it on WhatsApp, you can share it on Facebook, on Instagram. You can also share it on TikTok, I think. New to the whole TikTok game, so yeah, we're learning though. Look at me, I'm chasing my dreams and stuff and things. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify. You can follow the Instagram page, leave your comments. You can send a direct message as well to let me know what you thought about this week's episode. And with that, I want to thank you once again to my fellow and loyal listeners all over the world. No idea where you're listening from, but also very curious about that. Let me know what you thought. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again in the next episode, hoping to share some more knowledge with you. Okay, thanks, bye.